a lot of people in developed countries also. When we try and understand ecosystems and do the user research, the question I had posed earlier was that, can you use the same research methods as you use in the West very successfully, which is maybe interviews. In the West, you have a protocol, as it's called, a research questionnaire, and you sit across from the person you're talking, the participant or the respondent, and you ask the questions, and you get the answers. That's all there is to it. Or is there? There's actually a lot more to it. That method was designed for countries which are very individualistic. What that means is, as an individual, I don't know you. You come in and you say you're researching something and you want my opinion. Fine. I'll tell you my honest opinion. I don't care whether you like my opinion or not. You're asking me about this thing, I tell you it's horrible. It doesn't this, I don't like color, I'll tell you everything. Because I am an individual, I don't care for groups, I don't care for what anybody says, I care for what my opinion is. That's a trait, and it's good and it's bad, of an individualist culture. Take that method, drag it all the way across the world to collectivist cultures, what you have is disaster. So you have a person who doesn't know you, I'm the researcher, I'm going in and saying, hey, I want to talk to you, I want your opinions, and it's a conversation we have. And this person who comes from a culture where groups are most important, again, it's good and bad to that. Individual opinion is not the most important thing. This person is thinking, okay, fine, I'll talk to you. And then as I'm asking, so, this product, I really want your opinion. What do you think about this product? The participant, all the collective, conditioning kicks in. It's like, I don't want to say anything bad to this person. It's not good. So I'll say, it's good product, it's nice. Inside I'm maybe saying, oh my God, this is horrible, I never want to use it. Will I say that to you loud? I will not. Because I don't come from an individualist culture. I have not been conditioned to behave like that. I've been conditioned to be polite and respect other people and groups. So this method you use is so wrong, because you'll never get the right opinion. This, again, there are so many stories of how badly this goes. So the long and short of it is you've got to look at culture, context in emerging countries and change your research methods accordingly. Otherwise, you will never get right data. Your product innovation will be completely wrong. Whether you're going out in the field or you're getting people inside a particular facility and you're doing it, it doesn't matter which way, but you can tweak your research methods. As for my researchers, I make sure they understand these two things. Bourgeoisie, which is the opposite of déjà vu. So I always tell them, as an anthropologist, when you go out, never make the mistake of saying, oh, this user in this environment, I'm getting a sense of déjà vu. I know what it is, I've gone through this. Never make that mistake, saying it's bourgeoisie, I don't know anything. Though it may be your sister you're interviewing, still you've got to say it's bourgeoisie, I don't understand anything that she does. That's the only way you question them more and more and more. If you feel I know everything about this user, you will miss so many opportunities to understand why the user behaves in a certain way. So if you cannot get rid of that feeling, I know everything about this environment, between what the cultural ideal that is describing that culture and what is happening today. If there is a gap between these, opportunities for creating innovation. As an example, the cell phone again. So this is something that Chavan has said many times, and I just love this example. She says, this strain, she calls it culture strain, and that's what I take on as very important. This strain between a culture and its people struggling with what they are supposed to be and what they want to be is so important to understand. So she said, look at the cell phone. In a lot of countries in Asia and in many other emerging markets, there's a certain protocol about interaction between men and women. So again, I take India, I take Indonesia, I take Malaysia. There's a lot of restrictions there has been about how freely a man and a woman can interact. There are a lot of restrictions. You should not be interacting with, the other opposite sex. And India, for example, still has arranged marriages as being the most important, the way they should get married. You're not supposed to really be dating or going out with a member of the opposite sex. Still, your marriage is being arranged, you're committed, and then you can do what you want. Okay, so that's what India's supposed to be. Is India really like that? It's your teacher and you say, oh, good evening, Mrs. Whatever. Sure, I'll be there for class tomorrow. And you put the phone down and you run. And your mother comes and says, how come the teacher was calling you now? Suddenly your cell phone gives you such a lot of power. Now you can be sitting in your room, you can be in your bathroom, you can be whatever, and you can talk and message and nobody knows. So Dr. Bell said this was one of the big culture strain issues that really made the cell phone very successful, because it gave that power to bridge a cultural strain without rebellion, without overt rebellion. Silent things were changing. So I tell my researchers, always look for these two things. Remember Bhuja Day and look for culture strain. Techniques of research, you've got to have different techniques. Because people are different, you're going to come up with descriptions about the people and their lives, which will fuel your innovation. So you better know who these people are by getting deep into their heads and making them talk. So, for example here, this was in South Africa. Now, South Africa is very much like India. Nobody will talk in front of a stranger. This is a big bank. They want us to find out from a certain segment of the population that, for example, the state represents. They've introduced mobile banking. And they said, hey, mobile banking was introduced for, the sort of lower income groups in South Africa, because they all do have mobile phones. It is low cost banking because that section doesn't, give us enough reason to have them come inside the bank branch. It's too costly to service the poorer sections, but we want all of them to bank with us because they're large in number. So we have mobile banking. So they don't have to come to the bank. It's low cost banking transaction. Everything is low cost. Okay. But they're not using it. They're just not using it. We don't know what's the matter with this. So as we researched, how do you ask this lady that the features her mobile banking application provides her, does she really like all those features or not? Ask her. She's never going to say she doesn't like it. As she sits in front of you, her entire tribal, conditioning that you must always be good, don't criticize anything, will kick in, and she'll say all these 10 things I like very much. Then why don't you use them? Then she will quickly change the conversation, because she doesn't want to tell you why she doesn't really use it. So what we did here, we made what we call the bizarre bazaar technique for internal usage, that term. We took a shopping basket, exactly like the shopping basket she has when she goes and she picks vegetables into the basket. It's just a smaller version. And we wrote out on individual chips of paper the name of each of those 10 features. So, one feature is using mobile banking, you can make a transaction, you can pay money. You can call a community banker using the mobile phone saying, okay, I have a problem, help me. You can transfer money from one